Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. So we are here today to talk about AppImages, Flatpaks, and snaps, and what may be controversial or may not be a controversial. Whatever your take might happen to be. Yes, the kitty was wearing a mask. He is in full compliance with State College new code that they're trying to issue $100 fines. So I'm just pulling my business out of State College and moving it to one of the little small businesses that haven't lost their ever-loving mind. So, fun. How's everybody else doing?
I'm fine.
All right. Hey, I remembered to unmute people and to put in the banner image. I'm
Good.
on a roll. I did forget my tea, though. That's why we were a minute late. Got my tea now. We're good.
You gotta have the tea, man.
Hey, man, this is like two back-to-back
to
streams.
the show.
There you go. Yeah, I should pick me up another one. Like this
You're
is my
not
tea
using
mug.
your own mug.
Well,
You're using
because
someone else's.
Because I use my Switch to Linux mug for I use my Switch to Linux mug for coffee. I use this one for tea. This
I
one's
brought
hey,
my
I
mouse
support
pad.
local businesses
Mine
too.
too.
We got Hershey. Sweet. We got some mouse pads going on.
Shop.switchtolinux.com.
That's right. That's right. Hashtag save Linux. Yeah. That's a good one. All right. All right. How is everybody else doing in the comments? Let's see. We got Mark. How's it going there? Pizza took off. All right. Pizza got ordered somewhere, I guess. Grubhub came to pick him up. He was abducted by Grubhub.
Hey, people, this merch is real. Buy some of it.
Absolutely. Shop.switchtolinux.com. Fox Force, how's it going there? Prefer apt-get and deb files. Do not prefer Flatpaks or snaps. Use Debian, but is not polished. Now I'm on Mint Mate. Greetings from Croatia. How's it going there? Thank you. Yeah, I definitely prefer to use the debs or repos for most cases. However, there's a few things I do prefer. Flatpaks or AppImages, mostly for containerization, like Discord. I keep that in a Flatpak containerized so that it can't spy on what the rest of my system is doing.
So do I, and there's also an update for it.
Oh, yeah, I was fighting with that all day today because for half the day today, I was actually running Discord on the web browser because the Flatpak was not working right. It is now. If you are still having problems with the Flatpak, I actually uninstalled the Flatpak and then reinstalled the Flatpak, and then it got itself all fixed up. So.
I use Discord. I have an ICE app with Firefox. That's how I do my Discord.
That's a good way to do it too.
And one of the things that actually Discord added is you can do video calls through the web browser as long as you're using Chrome or Firefox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can do them on Flatpak as well.
There really isn't many features that you're losing when you use the actual native app.
I think you lose the ability to push button to talk, I think that might be
I don't use that, though. So.
Yeah, I don't either, but let's see. Hey,
I was trying to meet and I accidentally left.
I was thinking you got ordered by Grubhub and were being abducted by Grubhub agent taken somewhere, but I guess not. Let's see. We got Ubuntu more corporal and less Linux. That's true. Let's see, but I do not want snap installed behind my back. Somebody else says, let's see, love AppImages. If I load up a live USB, I can simply drag and drop them. Yes, that is actually a model. We're going to talk about a few models and things doing that. Like I know Chris Ware, I think, is doing that model. He basically has a series of AppImages that work for him, and he keeps those backed up, and he just spins up a shell of a distro, drops the AppImages over in a special folder, and uses it. I think that was Chris Ware. Somebody can confirm that. Skybear does prefer Crackle and Pop as well, but, you know. Let's see. DT's on. Greetings, DT. How's it going there? Mitchell, how's it going there? Mitchell, if you want to jump on, you have time in the supporter stream, in the supporter section of Discord. There is a link. Let's see. I'll just use one package format AppImage. I would be okay with that. I think AppImages are the best of all of them.
Yeah.
I know Flatpak's too controversial. I don't know. I haven't heard as much controversy in Flatpak. I don't know. What do you think?
There is a whole like there's a couple Linux apps that I use that are only as AppImages. Like that's how they chose to package it, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Etcher only comes as an app image. The last time I went hunting for it.
I think Etcher doesn't. Etcher I have installed it as an RPM package.
Okay. Maybe they've changed their ways.
They've changed their
I
ways.
know.
Yeah, there's a couple apps I run. I can't think of there's one that I use specifically. I can't think of the name of it, but it uses AppImages exclusively.
I don't use a lot of AppImages. I have a teleprompter on my laptop that's an AppImage. It's really nice.
Interesting.
Other than that, I test software more with it.
So that'll help you with your videos. It'll give you the notes or touch
Yeah.
points to focus on. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
very
the
interesting.
advantage.
I might do that, a setup like that, because I've got ADHD, so it's good for
Yeah.
me to.
Well, the advantage is you can have a script and run a teleprompter and, look
Yeah.
like a CNN person or whatever. He's got to get I'm still working on the formatting of that. And of course, as you can tell, watching a lot of my videos, I don't exactly script a lot. But
No, and I think that's
definitely,
a good thing
it's a good
because
thing.
I think if you overdo that, if
Well,
you
it
overscript, it's not
depends.
as natural.
Yeah, it depends on practice too. If you practice at it, you can be just as fine.
Yeah.
Ignite says, did I really switch away from library? Yeah, like a long time ago. I have a video about why. I'm not going to get into that here.
Personally, I cannot do unscripted videos.
Yeah, I have to have some sort of bullet.
Come on, you guys need a teleprompter.
I gotta have some sort of bullet points. I don't need I don't need to put every word that I'm saying in the video. God,
yeah.
no.
I
don't
mean,
want to do that because then it would bore me to death.
I was a college professor, so I don't script nothing. Give me the bullet points. I'll go into the class and I'll run my mouth for a while,
Yeah.
so.
And just very brief,
Yeah. I mean, my slides, yes, at your app image only on their website. Okay, so I don't know.
That's how I got it then.
Go ahead, Dan.
That's how I got it then. But there was a while, 6 months ago or something like that, where Debian would no longer run AppImages at all if you had Electron 5.0 or newer. So when they updated it, it quit working on Debian, and I had to do a lot of research. And there's a command system ctl kernel dot privileges underscore users underscore clone equals 1 that you have to put into the command line to use them.
And that's to use AppImages?
It switches something with the user and the kernel.
Yeah.
But there's another, you can take that line I just told you, and there's a file that you can paste it in. So when you reboot your computer, it reboots that way.
Yeah, I know if I try and use AppImages on this particular build here, it doesn't work very well on many of them. So like I just downloaded LibreOffice 7 today as an AppImage to give it a try, and it crashes on several menu items. So I was like, well, I wonder if that's universal. Tried it out in Mint 20 and it works just fine. So it's something about the fact that, hey, I am still running Linux Mint 18.3 and I haven't even updated it in a while. So that's
the article I find that Debian has this set to 0 by default, or many other distros, like your Ubuntu and your regular Mint have it set to 1 by default, which makes it work.
So, if you go to Etcher's GitHub repo, there's a link for an RPM and Deb repository.
Okay. All right. So I guess they changed something from last time. So there you go, Unseen. Balls in your court. You just been slapped. All right.
I stopped using Etcher for a little bit when they started doing the stupid thing where there was a video. Do you know about that? How they would have some featured project video that would play while the item was flashing. Or
it had this little stand with all these USB things sticking out of it.
I use Linux Mint. We have a USB burner on there. I don't need Etcher.
I quit using Etcher because the videos would auto play, but then they changed it. Now it doesn't do that anymore. It was really annoying when they first did it.
Before we dive too deep here, just for anybody jumping in wondering, what are we talking about? I want to go ahead and introduce what these topics are for everybody. And so we're going to do that so that everyone's kind of on the same page, and then we'll kind of have a pros and cons discussion of AppImages, Flatpaks, and snaps. So I pulled up just the basic web pages for each of these guys here. So with AppImages, so basically all of these are a containerized way of running your Linux software. So the traditional way, you have the code for the software, and then this requires a series of dependencies that all need to be on the computer. The concern that people have had is you get what is oftentimes called dependency hell, where you might have a dependency that works better for one application but breaks another application. And so if you need to run both of those on the same computer, then you can have issues where the dependencies don't line up and one program will work and the other one will not. So all three of these are containerized means by which you can package the application with its dependencies in one format, and then you can run that and each application will run the best. So you can kind of think it's like an Android app. When you're compiling an Android app, which is based on Java, then there's a series of libraries, dependencies, and those all get built in. So obviously the big downside on all of these is they tend to be larger than the package itself. But there's some pros and some cons of each of them, and we kind of want to dive into it. So AppImage is definitely the most universal. There's not a central repo form. I guess there are a few central repos, but there's no huge AppImage store like there is for Flatpaks and Snaps. So Flatpaks are much the same. Yeah, go ahead, Pizza.
There's AppImage Hub, which has like a source for a bunch of app images, and they also have an API that other programs can use. So Nutrix OS uses fully AppImages, and it gets all of them from AppImage Hub.
Cool. Yeah, that's not common, but that's good to know it exists. So the second one, of course, is Flatpak. This is from Red Hat, I believe. And this one is of the two big ones, the Snaps and the Flatpaks. Flatpaks are the least controversial of the two. There's not a ton of controversy, mostly because you can set your own repositories. You can host your own store. We're going to talk about that with a new release of a distro coming up that Pizza has a lowdown on. So we'll let him talk about it when we're to that point. But this is basically there. You can set your distribution method. You can set a variety of different options. And of course, snaps are from Ubuntu, certainly the more controversial of them all, mostly owing to the fact that they are only distributed through a proprietary store. And you can reach out to them and get your own version of that proprietary store, but it's still a proprietary store. You can set the snaps so you can have more confidence, but you still have that store in the background. And of course, Snap though is designed more for a more corporate feel. You know, Google and Microsoft and all those companies that we run to Linux to flee are all embedded into the Snap stuff, and that's part of the controversy, I think. So that's kind of the three. So we'll leave it open for talking about those. So go ahead, Quentin, take us away.
So what I was saying, this is about Flatpak. So Fedora, since Fedora is Red Hat, it comes with Flatpak support enabled by default. But by default, it only uses the Fedora Flatpak repository. You have to add FlatHub, which is the main one, manually, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah. Now, how many packages are in there? Is there a distinct reason to use FlatHub other than the fact you want to use FlatHub?
Pretty much. Sometimes I run into a situation where an app is only packaged as a deb app or a Flatpak or Snap. So that's the reason why I have it. I really don't use Flatpaks a ton. I don't use Snaps at all. I do have a couple app images though, but I just enabled it just because it's nice to have in case there's something I need to install. But it's really easy to select between the two because on GNOME software, there's an option like at the top says, do you want to install the RPM or do you want to install the Flatpak?
Yeah, so you have the option, which is good. And so when Ubuntu's working, once they got the updates in, you can choose to do the Snap pack versus the Snap, versus the repo version. Linux Mint gives you that choice. Manjaro, I think, handles them all the best because you have the toggle on, toggle off options for Snap and for Flatpak. And then if you search for it with all of those turned on, it tells you, is it the Snap, is it the Flatpak, or is it the repository? Pizza, we're going to hit you last because you're going to have probably the most detailed information. So, Mark, do you have anything to add?
I just want to say I was just mentioning that. I don't know much about it.
Okay. Well, you know more about it than I do. So, all right. Go ahead then, Pizza. Go ahead and tell us about Elementary.
I heard somewhere that Elementary is transitioning to having everything be a Flatpak except for like system applications.
Okay.
And I heard someone angry about that. So I was just saying that Flatpak, I don't get why if you are using your own custom repo, that's just like using apt. I don't get why you'd be angry about that.
Yeah, and as long as you can add extra repos, you can change them. Now, by system apps, is that the elementary apps, or is that like are the elementary apps also Flatpaks, or the
Oh
elementary
yeah,
apps kind
that
of shipping?
system apps, I just mean like system settings and stuff
System
like
settings
that.
stuff. Okay, so
So
those are
that means
repo,
that
but everything else
yeah,
is
but
Flatpak.
even like some of the stock apps that don't like interact with the system, those I heard were going to be Flatpaks. I
good,
can't
because I
actually
think most of
find
those
the
suck.
I heard about it, but I can't now that I'm trying to fact check it, I can't actually find the source I got it from.
So you're
But
feeding fake news to the channel, man.
I did hear that though. That
All
that
right.
is going to be the path that they're going to take eventually.
All right. So if anybody can confirm or deny that, let us know in the chat. Mark, we'll go over to you.
Oh, here it is. I found it.
Oh, you found it.
But this article is from the elementary blog, but it's also from April 1st, so I don't know.
Oh dear. Okay, so it's probably fake news. Pizza. All right.
Here, I'll just
ignore everything for the last 1 minute, you know. we'll look at that. If everybody can tell us, so it's not an April Fool's thing or whatever else, because sometimes that happens. I don't know. Maybe we might have
put it in the chat.
Okay, excellent. Go ahead, Mark.
Can you rephrase the question again? Because I had some dude was texting me back and forth and about some crazy stuff. I don't know what that was about, but I deleted it. What was the original question?
Yeah, we're just any initial pros and cons. I guess right now we're talking about Flatpaks.
The initial pros and cons of the proper thing to say to lead it off is the benefit there. The pro, which there's only really one pro that I can think of, and that is obvious. If you have an application that is generally proprietary or that is not compatible with Linux natively, it enables you to run that program in said Linux distribution so long that as it supports the Flatpak or snaps in whichever repo. Well, repo is not the right word really. That it's offered, whether it is offered as a Flatpak or a snap. Does that make sense? It enables you to run Windows apps that you wouldn't normally be able to run in Linux.
Are you talking about the one sometimes snaps? There's a couple Windows apps packaged just snaps using Wine, but there's but in general, an application would still have to run on Linux for it to be a snap or a Flatpak.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I know that Microsoft has definitely made some stuff available that I don't think was always available on Linux. Well, if that's the case, then there are no pros.
Oh, there are still pros because there's also Wine packs, or I think that's what it's called. I can't remember, but there's this Flatpak repo with Wine apps on it, but also both snaps and Flatpaks are containerized. And it's a universal app store. So instead of developers needing to package a deb, an RPM, an Arch package, they could just package a snap or a Flatpak, and then it will work on everything.
I think the cons there, that leads me to say the cons are the redundancy. We start to have fragmented formats now. Now we have Flatpak, we have Flatpak, we have snaps. We have AppImages.
Options are good, though.
It gets to be too much, and it causes analysis paralysis for the user.
But that's not Flatpak's fault.
I think options are good. I don't like what Ubuntu does, where they're moving things and removing the ability to install a few apt packages.
They're forcing your hands.
Well, maybe. I mean, you can remove it, so we'll see.
You got to remember one thing. All these software packages originally come from the same binary source. They're just packaged to work within a container.
Yeah. So there's serious advantages to using snaps as well. As much as I hate them and not a big fan of it, I don't necessarily hate snaps as much as I hate how Ubuntu is implementing them is a better thing to do, because there are some really cool things that you can see with it. Like there were entire Mac OS builds done on snaps. I'm not sure if those survived or not. The Apple lawyers might have eaten them, but
they did.
The things that you can do on Snap is quite incredible. And I want to give enough credence to that. I just don't like the way Ubuntu packaged them necessarily. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to be controversial. I think there should only be the repos, and I really do, truly.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree.
Not being contrarian for
there's advantages to using other systems. So, for example, LibreOffice was, just released a new version. I think it was this week. It was like yesterday or 2 days ago. I was able to run the video where I can run 6.4 and 7 side by side because of AppImages.
Right.
That's an advantage. We can run AppImages without a lot of system stuff. Go ahead, Pizza.
I feel like AppImages are the most important, I feel like, because Linux before AppImages, we've never really had, like Windows, you can have like portable EXEs where you don't have to have any other files. You can just run the EXE and it works. Linux has never had anything like that. So AppImages, I don't use them that often because I prefer installing them off a repo. It's easier. I don't have to go on a website or anything. However, AppImages are still the most important because that's pretty much the only way to have a portable application in Linux right now. But as for Flatpaks versus snaps, I think that those are also a good idea because it provides a universal package format that supports basically every distro, which means that
not every distro.
Well, pretty much every distro. I can't think of any distros that don't support Flatpaks. Snaps, there are a couple distros that don't support it, but Flatpaks, I can't think of a single distro that doesn't support Flatpaks.
Right.
One of the things going on to your point, Tom, about how Ubuntu starts packaging like system apps and stuff into snaps. Fedora doesn't do that. All the core apps are still native RPMs.
What about Silverblue? Doesn't that
to be honest, I know nothing about Silverblue. I don't use it.
Why can't we just stick to the repos? I hate to be
because there is a legitimate problem with some dependencies and things like that. That's why.
Arch is a really good example. If you don't update your system on Arch,
right,
or you're using like an old AUR package or something, Arch, the dependencies are always on the most up-to-date version, even if that causes other applications that need those dependencies to break. So that is the shortcoming with our current package system. Since we can't, that means that we wouldn't be able to get those applications working just because one dependency is too new or too old. It breaks the whole application.
Yeah.
So Flatpaks and snaps and AppImages all fix that problem.
Is there not some of that present also with RPMs, Pizza?
It is present on RPMs. I just use Arch as an example since Arch is so bleeding edge. But Debian and Fedora and every distro basically has those same issues.
Yeah.
And so,
that is a great point.
Yeah.
And that's not anything that could be easily avoided by restructuring and packaging things differently, like changing the business process. If I guess what I'd like to say is, coming from someone who is continually trying to get my clients to use Linux, when you have just a repo in an app store, it's so dirt simple that they can figure out how to install their software and use it, and they get it. But when you start to add on all of these other ways to get software, it confuses them and it causes like analysis paralysis.
Well,
I'm not sure it does, because there is a little bit of maybe retraining, but if you're training them on the front end, I mean, if that's serious your concern, then give them Manjaro and turn off snaps and Flatpaks, and they won't know how to turn it on.
Yeah, they have the R, and then they have the repo. I think that's a good fit, honestly. That's a good idea.
But also, the the average user probably doesn't care how they install it. So, and through GNOME Software Center, if you don't change any of the sources or anything, it's just going to default to 1 and it will pick for you. You don't have to think about that.
Yeah.
Of course, who wants to use GNOME Software Center?
Well, yeah, but
to be honest, I don't mind GNOME software.
Yeah, the good thing about it is it's consistent across all distros. It's easy to install across all distros. That's its serious advantage.
Yeah, I use mostly GNOME software, honestly.
Pretty much like some distros, like I know Manjaro, don't ship with an app store by default. It's just a package manager.
Right.
I know like the Fedora version of Deepin doesn't ship with an app store.
I would like to offer this. I would like to offer this cat to Mitchell to go trap the squirrels. Want to go get some squirrels?
But
the PAMAC, he's so beautiful. The PAMAC is so well done. God, I love that cat. Look at him. I can just look at him all day. But honestly, the PAMAC is so well done that it kind of like you don't even need an app store for a new user. The PAMAC is so logistically laid out, and you can just search what you need, and you could probably just search general terms like media player or whatever and find what you need without a problem. Yeah. It's so well done. In a way, I like it better than just an app store. I really do.
I think PAMAC is probably the best software center right now because
best package manager.
It is good for both new users who don't know what they're doing very much because it's logically laid out and everything.
Yeah.
But also it's good for advanced people because it's also laid out similarly to something like Synaptic or just a regular standard package manager.
Yeah.
And I'd rather use PAMAC in a lot of cases than the terminal.
Yeah.
To be honest. I can't say that for other apps.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Hey, Dan, what are your thoughts? You've been quiet, sitting back there. Watching the fight.
I've been just listening to the smoke fly by. My thoughts are, well, I use a version of Debian. And I really believe that people should use the package manager and the packages provided by their actual distro provider. Mm-hmm. So if you have an issue and you have to go to their website or whatever, you don't have third party this and fourth party that and everything else, clouding up the discussion. There are times when you get like in a situation like I'm in Debian, software is a little thinner than it is with other distros, where I have to like substitute a telegram and use an all-in-one binary. That has great advantages. It updates itself and everything else, and is not really. It's almost like an app image. I use a couple app images because I can't find some things other places. I stop with Flatpaks. I will install a few Flatpaks, and as far as the snaps go, the Ubuntu people can have those as their primary distribution thing. It's part of their package. It works. They know how it works the best. They created it. So for that reason, I think people should stick to what their store offers unless they got a reason to do otherwise.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that snaps on Ubuntu server work really well. Like I don't think I'd ever use snaps on a desktop just because of theming issues and stuff. But on a server, like if I need to deploy something, I just install a snap and I barely have to do any other setup. Whereas let's say I want to install like Ghost or something using traditional app method. Then I have to install PHP. I have to edit a couple of config files. Then I have to install another thing and edit more config files. And then I can finally install my package. Snaps makes it super easy. Yeah. So
the point is you brought it up. Suppose you took them snaps from the Ubuntu desktop and let's say you put them on Pop OS or something like that. You're going to have the same theming issues. And the Pop people are going to be like, you're using somebody else's software center. We're not going to help you.
One thing I will say about snaps on Ubuntu server is that I find it kind of useless because every time that I've done Ubuntu server, it's for something locally here on my network. Like I have I'm sure you guys probably know this. I have a hypervisor on my network that runs some virtual machines. And I typically use Ubuntu as a base for something. Like when I had to install my Ubiquiti Unify controller to control my wireless access points, I had to install Ubuntu because that's what they support for their software. And I just completely disabled snaps altogether. Like, I just don't really see a point of running a snap on a server.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mitchell just says disagrees with Pizza. Sorry, Pizza. I've seen more server downtime from snaps than anything else. I think the biggest problem with running snaps on a server base is if something does go wrong, good luck. Like I was trying to run some Nextcloud builds for somebody, and we're using AWS on an Ubuntu build. I tried to do it with Snap. It's just like I couldn't get some things to work. You can't customize where the directories are. You couldn't set up a lot of the different things. I'm just like, you know what? I dumped it because it takes me a grand total of like 20 minutes to set up a Nextcloud config server. Spin the thing up, and it works just fine.
I'm just
So,
listening to everything everybody's saying. I gotta say, Dan had the best idea. Just let the distros select.
Yeah,
okay,
but he's too
Mark,
talking about desktop.
That's what I do. And if I can't get it from Debian directly, maybe I will find a deb packages. Those work very well too. Matter of fact, you can get a deb package out of an RPM. There are conversion tools. They work great.
One of the things that I also disabled it for was memory usage, because I don't know how much memory the snap process uses, but I have my server, or my virtual machine here, it only has 2 gigabytes of RAM dedicated to it. So, and the Unify controller uses a lot of RAM. So I just wanted to make sure I had enough resources for something that I'm not even using it.
The more snaps you install, and the more of them you open, the more processor power it requires too.
Yeah, Snapd very heavy in compared to like Flatpaks. And
you'll have to put Snapd in game mode.
Yeah. One thing I don't like about Flatpaks and snaps, about both of them, is they're always running. If you're running a Flatpak or snap application, that means that Flatpak and snap start running too. It'd be really stupid if I installed like Firefox through apt, and an apt was forced to run whenever I wanted to use Firefox. But Flatpaks and snaps do that. So.
Well, here's the thing, Pizza. You can also get Firefox in an all-in-one contained binary too. You just unzip it into a folder in your home folder, and you go inside the folder and start it up from in there.
I know. I'm just using apt as an example.
Right.
If you installed Firefox using a package manager, and then that package manager is forced to always be running just to use the app, that would be really stupid.
That would take a lot of power.
Yeah. Now, I understand that a little bit because Flatpaks and snaps are both containerized, so they have to run the container. And also, how you can't just put a binary somewhere. If it's cross-distro compatible, you can't just put a binary somewhere and hope that it will work, because it could conflict with other files, other dependencies, stuff like that.
No, this thing runs completely in its own folder and nothing outside of it.
I'm not talking about your binary. I'm talking about snaps and Flatpaks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, I get that if you just if Flatpaks and snaps just put a binary and nothing else, it could conflict with some things, stuff like that. And so the program for snaps and Flatpaks has to kind of be running to resolve issues like that, stuff like that. So I do get why it does run when you are running an app, but it's also kind of, I don't know. It's just, it feels like kind of bloated that I have to run Flatpak or Snap just to run an app installed with them, even if there's a good reason that I have to do that.
Oh, sure. It affects your gaming performance too.
I haven't had any issues I haven't seen any impacts on my CSGO gaming.
Oh, that's why they put game mode in Ubuntu by default now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. They want you to use that to cover up the Snapd processes.
Daybot asks, is there a distro that forces a Flatpak like Ubuntu does the apt with Chromium? I don't know of any.
Endless OS.
What's that?
Actually, I said Endless OS, but now that I think about it, that's kind of like Silverblue, where it uses OS tree and everything.
Okay.
System D, I have grown to hate it. My ThinkPad, and I'm saying this because snaps require System D. So something to consider if you're going to run snaps. Understand you're going to have to install System D. My ThinkPad is now, 7, 8 years old. It ran great with Mint 19.3 lightning fast. I now have Mint 20 on it, and it has finally caught up with it because I have to have a particular snap. So I have to on the Mint, it's System D's pre-installed. That is so heavy, and it's something to consider if you're running a lightweight or old machine. Try to go Flatpak or AppImage if you can, and avoid snaps because it will load down your hardware resources. So that's I heard Pizza mention that. That's a great idea.
Doesn't Mint 19 use System D?
I believe it does.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just that my system is now old enough where 8 gigs of RAM isn't what it used to be, and I guess I'm lamenting for the days of old where System D wasn't in everything, because it's just so heavy.
Mark, everything's kind of like just as it's getting older, it's getting obsolete for even the Linux distros to keep them running. Right. I mean, I got an older printer here. Ubuntu doesn't even support it anymore. I got to go to Epson and get the drivers from them.
Yeah, it's a natural progression, and I guess
Debian will still run it, but Ubuntu won't.
It seems like, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's much less of a gap. You used to be able to run about any distro on any system, no matter how old it was, if it was up and working, just about anything. That gap is really closing, and with System D, Linux distros are far heavier than they ever used to.
I mean, is it System D, though, or is it other factors? That's a question to look into.
You just got a $5 super chat.
I did, yes. Thank you, Necromancer. I was waiting for a break to bring that up, but thank you, Necromancer. Always appreciate that, my friend.
We got a wake-up warning when Canonical said they were no longer going to issue any more 32-bit distros.
Yeah, I think so. That's when I decided I needed to change the writing computer, and Peppermint was getting a little old and starting to have a couple bugs, and I was like, well, I need to drop it. I was like, what do I go with? Do I go with a new version of Peppermint? Well, I actually just decided we're going to go down to MX Linux. And frankly, the thing works really well on MX.
Wait,
actually, I noticed more battery power and stuff. What's that?
I thought you got the Pine tab to replace the writing computer.
I'm going to test that, but I mean, that's not here yet. So I'm going to test it and see how that works for e-reading and a few other applications. I'm going to test how it works. But no, I mean, I still do write books every day. So, MX Linux is what I'm using for that right now.
I am very, very happy with MX on my workstation. It's now my daily driver. Very pleased.
Yeah. I did change it around so it resembles Peppermint, but I do like
When's your next installment of Synaptotree coming out?
I haven't started it yet. Sorry.
Oh.
This month I should start it. This month I should be starting it because I'm working. The writing project I'm working on right now is really heavy, and so I'm trying to finish that up, and then I'll get that started to work.
Heavy, man, heavy.
Yeah. Quint, I think you had something.
I'm trying to remember. I was gonna say something. I don't remember now.
All right.
I was going to say something.
Or remember you want to remember something.
Does Linux Mint Debian Edition use Snapd? System D? I believe so. Snap, probably not.
I'm using it. It probably does, because I think you need Snapd to run Steam.
I remember what I was going to say now.
Go ahead.
It's that I've tried a lot of the distros that you guys have suggested, and I find that they just don't do one thing or another, and I keep coming back to Fedora because it's just perfect.
Well, you just gotta stay on Fedora then, so that way we have somebody to ask Fedora questions of.
Quint, that's why I continue to use LMDE Debian Edition. I think it's up to its 0.3 release because it just works. I mean, it does everything the others won't.
I just wanted to say about Fedora. I noticed that if you're using GNOME software in GNOME stuff, basically every GDK app runs great. Everything GNOME runs great. As soon as you start putting in Qt apps, it like ruins the system. Like Qt apps barely run on there.
I've never had any issues because I have a couple Qt apps. I have Kdenlive. And I have, what's the other one that I use? Hold on, let me find it in my list here. Oh, it's DigiCam. I use that too. Those are both Qt apps, and they run fine.
Really? Because I've never seen Kdenlive crash so many times on a distro before, and it had theming issues.
Which distro?
Too. Fedora.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never had any issues with. What version are you running? Are you on 32?
I ran the latest version. I'm not running Fedora anymore. I had DistroHop because I couldn't run Kdenlive on it well.
I'm able to run Kdenlive fine. I've never had any issues.
Yeah, it's never been. It's like I'm running one of the ancient versions of Kdenlive that crashed a lot because Kdenlive used to be a horrible, buggy mess.
I hear a lot about that.
Anyone else remember that? It's good now, but it used to be terrible.
I use Kid3 too, which is a Qt app, and it's fine. I've never had any issues.
I've used that. I like that.
Yeah, that's the one I use for stuff.
I like Kid3 better than EasyTag, which is the GNOME one. I think Kid3 is a lot easier to use.
Yeah, I actually, of all of the different utility apps, I generally tend to favor the KDE versions instead of the GNOME versions. Like the GNOME versions
another
look
one
better.
called Puddle Tag.
Yeah, the GNOME versions tend to look better, but KDE ones are much more functional. I found.
I run a mix.
There's a window program called MP3 Tag. It's been around forever, and they constantly update it. Puddle Tag is its clone.
I remember, I forget the name of it, but we used to use back in the old, pre-window, maybe it was right around Windows 95 days, we used the DVD ripper, like the CD rippers that were like terminal based, and you had to use the ID tag terminal, like the command line based taggers. I think I still have them around. We got a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Minora. So how do you feel about the recent video from Luke Smith where he thinks Linux is going? I did not get a chance to watch the video yet. It showed up in my feed, and I did not get a chance to watch it yet. Did anybody watch that video and tell me what the summary was there? Anybody?
I think he slept through it.
I don't watch Luke Smith. I feel like he's like the definition of the elitist arch user. So I can't stand
that's what turns me off about him too.
I don't watch a ton of Linux content anymore. This is about the only Linux channel I watch now. So
touched. I will get a chance to watch it, and if you remind me, you don't have to super chat me again, but remind me again, maybe tomorrow on the news. I will try and watch it today, and I will try and tell you. So if you're on the news tomorrow, I will try and answer that. So thank you for the super chat. I will definitely read it. Bless you, pizza. I hope you didn't just sneeze on your pizza. That'd just not be cool.
Oh no!
Or your keyboard.
Did you just pass COVID through all of us? You guys, we all need to get tested for COVID now. Pizza just passed it on all of us. He's in that Seattle neighborhood that got hit.
Especially if he hacked a loogie on his camera.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
poor pizza.
I really just don't watch much Linux content anymore because I found a distro that I like, and I don't really need to watch like other like stuff about distros and stuff. Like I mainly just watch your channel because of all the privacy stuff.
Yeah, I get a lot of like I get better video views on the Linux stuff, but I have a more dedicated fan base on the privacy stuff. I can't figure it out.
Like there's not a ton of other Linux YouTubers that do privacy.
Tom's got the market on a bunch of hotheads.
There you go.
I
what
think
I
privacy and security is more in focus now in society overall.
Mm-hmm.
It took a long time for the world to kind of catch up and be concerned about it,
Yeah,
but
about
it's much
time.
more pervasive at this time period. So you're naturally going to get more views on that.
I can't.
I
Well, I don't. That's the thing. I get way more views on the basic Linux content than I do
Like,
on
We
the
got more
privacy stuff.
COVID people stuck inside because of the pandemic, and they're already angry, and you're just feeding it on Friday night.
So,
I have to feed the COVID news because it's just so insane. Like, if we don't wake up to the fact that we are moving towards a Nazi dystopia, we are going crazy. I mean, some of the stuff
I
going on.
mainly just really like to watch your news because I watch I watch a lot of networking content now, and all these guys have like Teslas and stuff, and they talk about it, how awesome it is, all sorts of stuff. That's why I just have to watch your privacy stuff.
Yeah. Rob
um
Braxman, he's a good privacy guy as well.
I
Yeah.
I'm kind of uninterested in desktop Linux anymore because it's kind of getting boring now. Like everything is the same. All the distros are the same, maybe one or two small tweaks.
I'm finding
Um,
that. So I'm
and
finding talking about distro reviews to be a little bit boring at this point. It's like, well, they're the same.
yeah, the only difference is like the package manager, maybe some small tweaks here and there. So really, I
Mm-hmm.
don't watch distro reviews at all anymore. I don't do distro reviews anymore either,
Yeah.
except for PinePhone distros.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I think when the Pine tabs actually get here, I want to get you and Tack on, and we want to talk. We want to do a show on just Pine products. Anybody
Okay.
has Pine products, we need to
Yeah,
get a
I've
show.
switched more to hardware reviews like Jay's 2 cents and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like all I watch now, I like looking at new applications that come out for Linux, and so I still watch some of those videos. And there are a couple distros that I'm still paying attention to that are actually interesting, like Elementary OS, um, Farron
I
OS,
did
stuff
read
like
that
that.
article while we were chatting here, and I did not see any evidence that that was a spoof article or anything. It looked all
Yeah,
serious.
I
It
I
had
don't think
links
it's an
back to
April
their
Fool's
posts, so
article.
it does look like that's the direction Elementary's going.
Yeah,
You're
I
off the
pretty
hook.
much
Yeah.
just nowadays I pretty much watch content on PFSense and on Ubiquity. They're different YouTubers that do it, but that's pretty much what I watch now. I really don't watch, and I watch your news and I watch this. That's pretty much it. I don't really watch Linux stuff because it's just the same.
the only
I'm honestly much the same. I watch just a little bit here and there, just enough to stay up on some of the things. But I don't care what the latest update in GNOME 3.36.7 is. It just doesn't interest me.
yeah
Because I'm practical stuff. That's why I'm transitioning to do into the using FOSS software for business applications. That excites me. I'm excited
like
again
that
to start
too.
doing that. So we'll be doing
yeah
some of that. I want to build some web servers. I want to test some of the more advanced applications. That'll be fun.
That's my
I
boy.
do want to
after
I do want to comment on this chat that here because this is glorious. HR Janosh, don't worry. COVID 1984 is only transmissible through mainstream media. Well, I actually do my shopping in Amish country because the Amish country have not lost their mind yet. And downtown Liberal State College has gone crazy. And so I drive over to the Amish country and you're driving down there, right? And you're like, you see, nobody's wearing masks. Nobody's sick. Nobody's dying. I stopped to ask this Amish guy, I'm like, dude, why do you guys not get COVID around here? He goes, we just don't have TV, so.
I know, like this is more back on the privacy thing. I'm not trying to digress too much,
No,
but
go ahead.
this networking YouTuber I watch, he is a PIA subscriber like you are, and he promotes PIA, which I think is good. But when the whole thing about when that company that bought PIA and there was some controversy, he like completely flipped out about it, that he was canceling his PIA accounts and he was taking down his affiliate link. And the thing is, though, he's a total Tesla supporter. He uses Windows 10.
I know, right?
He uses Ubiquity stuff that requires a cloud account.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, what are you talking about? And I looked into that. I was curious about that. I looked into this, and what I looked at with the PIA stuff is like, okay, 5 years ago, under completely different leadership, the company did a shady thing. I'm not all that concerned because we haven't seen any evidence. But since then, we've seen every bit of private internet access go open source. We can audit all of it. That's why
Yeah, I just don't understand.
fine.
I'm sure you heard the last part that I said about all the stuff he uses that's not privacy, and he just
I know.
completely flipped out about this.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah.
To be,
I think people are missing some opportunities on some good, honest, and clean money by doing a PIA affiliate, and it's on my list of things I want to do. That and SiteGround and A2 hosting. I probably gonna have a lot of the same affiliates Tom does eventually. So, yeah, I think PIA is a solid company. They have taken steps forward to show that they are transparent and they're trying to correct their past. And they are pretty much in control of the operations of PIA, the original PIA team. As far as I know, they kind of run independently. If that's not right, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have pretty much autonomy over that. Cape Cod is the parent company, but they kind of let them do their own thing.
Yeah, to my understanding, that's the case. It's same with StartPage. I was concerned about that a little bit, and I got a chance to talk to some people in StartPage, upper level guys in StartPage, and I'm not concerned about StartPage at all. In fact, I find DuckDuckGo sucks so bad. I'm moving most of my systems are back on StartPage at this point.
Well, I've already transitioned to StartPage specifically because of your recommendations.
Yeah, I looked into it. I talked to some people in there, and because of the total separation that the two companies have, I'm not concerned about StartPage.
Yeah.
In fact, they actually said they might be changing some of the marketing that they were doing because of some of the things that I had mentioned to them. It's like, answer me this. Why are you investing? I don't want to go any further than that because I don't know if they're officially doing that, but I'm not concerned.
I actually kind of like DuckDuckGo's search results a little bit better than StartPage. I tried, and I actually like it better than Google, to be honest.
Well, Google's an abominable mess these days.
I have used DuckDuckGo for like 5 years, so I'm used to it. That was like my first privacy step was switching to DuckDuckGo.
Mm-hmm. I continue to use it. I continue to use it until I can't find what I'm looking for on it. It serves most of my purposes fine.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting rid of Google Wallet. I've already dropped Google Mail. I've already dropped. I still have Google Keep. I'll have Google Keep, and I'm going to find something else for that.
Quint, do you know of
Google? Go ahead.
Do you know of a way I can drop Google Voice? My business phone number is still on Google Voice right now, mostly to prevent spammers from calling me several times a day. Do you know of a way to do that?
You could, if you want to set up a free PBX, I know that might be a lot for just one little number. You could totally do that. You could just get like just this old computer, put free PBX on it. Then you could just have like a soft phone app on your computer, or you could get an IP desk phone like I have. They're not very expensive.
Where does the number route through, though? Where's the number?
It uses, you would have to port your number to a SIP provider or a SIP trunking provider. Like I use VoIP.ms. They're a very good company. You can easily port your number from Google Voice to them. I think you have to pay the Google Voice port out fee, though.
I paid Google Voice to send it to them. Now they want made both ways. My lands. All right, what was that number again? Is it SIP VIP?
VoIP, VoIP.ms. That's also their website.
.ms?
Yeah. They're pretty cheap. I pay less than $1 a month to keep the number active, and I pay per minute based on call. And you just port your number to them. You need to set up the SIP trunk and free PBX. I can send you a whole free PBX tutorial if you want me to.
Not yet. That's fairly low on my list of priorities right now. We're working on building the rest of the business infrastructure first. And so
here's the video that I was talking about. If any of you guys want to watch it, that was the PIA video. And the free PBX thing, I will say, is from the same guy, but it's fine. The free PBX video is fine.
All
right.
Site looks real good. Yeah, I'm looking at the VoIP.ms site right now. It looks very clean. They did a really good job on the site design.
You could, Tom, I didn't even think of this. You could also just register like an IP desk phone straight to VoIP.ms without needing any kind of PBX. You can do that.
Okay.
You can just go, you just port your number over, register. They'll give you registration, like SIP registration information for your IP desk phone. And you could just do that. Or you could use like a soft phone app. Like I know I use, what's the one I use called? I can't think of the one that I use. I have so much stuff organized into folders, I can't find anything anymore.
There's a Linux.
It's AppImages is the one I use. That one works fine.
Say that again.
Which one is it?
AppImages. It's a GNOME soft phone app. There's also LinPhone too, which I think might be a little bit better. AppImages is a little buggy, I will say.
Yeah.
All right. I will. Yeah. When I get time to look into that, I'll look into doing that. So.
Now that I'm thinking about it, you don't even need a PBX. You can just port your number straight to VoIP.ms, register either a soft phone client or a desk phone straight to them.
Okay. Yeah, that might be a good option. All right. Cool. We're coming into the top of the hour here, so I'll be streaming in 1 hour on my other channel. I'll provide the link for that for a moment, guys. But Dan, go ahead and give me your final thoughts.
My final thoughts are kind of simple. If you're using a Linux distro, try first to stick to the software center that they recommend for it. If you have a special thing or you can't find it there, then go wander out and see what you can find. That's probably the best way to do things without getting too complicated, just in case you need that extra help. You don't have that complication in there. And that's basically all I have to give out of this.
All right. Mark, final thoughts.
My final thoughts is a call to action. You can find me at Yates Networks on YouTube, and also I believe on MeWe and Twitter at Mark Yates. And I'll be working on some content very soon, within the next day or so, for my channel. So be on the lookout for that. If anyone is in the region that I am, I'm in North Carolina. So if you're anywhere on the East Coast alongside it, or even out a little bit and need remote services, I am available. Got a couple slots open. If anyone's interested, just email me. The email is on my about on my Google, on my channel. It should show.
Go ahead and drop your channel link in the comments if you can.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Pizza, you're next.
So I think AppImages are sort of the most essential because we don't have any portable like file formats for programs on Linux other than AppImages. However, I also believe Flatpaks and Snaps are also both important because it provides developers the ability to package for seemingly any distro. So without needing to package a dev file and stuff, because AppImages don't auto update and stuff like that. So then if you need to update in a package, Flatpaks and Snaps are much easier. So yeah. And I guess since other people are doing adverts, I do videos on the Pine phone. So if you're interested, check out my channel. Pizza Loving
Nerd. All right, go ahead and drop that one in there too if you want. Quint, final thoughts.
I would say that I'll say that I don't particularly like Snaps, Flatpaks, and AppImages, but they have a purpose. Like I'd rather use an RPM file or a deb package over a Snap, Flatpak, or AppImages, but they have a purpose. So if you want to run something that's containerized, that's a use for it. If you want to run multiple different versions of applications, that's another use. Just stuff like that. I don't really do much YouTube content. I might do a couple things here and there. My YouTube channel is Quint Berkeley.
All right. Thank you. And I'm much the same. I prefer to use repositories most of the time. There are reasons like, I run things like Discord through a Flatpak because I can containerize it. I'll use things like AppImages because they're easy to download to test software out. So those are actually good things to do. But for the most part, I prefer my repo software. I will be streaming on my Christian channel if you are into that gaudy type stuff. God-y, not gaudy, God-y type stuff. You can find me over there on Our Walk in Christ. I'll be streaming in 1 hour. I will go ahead and drop the link there in the chat so you can head on over there, and we'll be talking about shepherding the flock from 1 Peter chapter 5. So we will see you guys over there.